because I need sensation. You know, once I get going with the lesson, arm starts. Okay, I've got a really quick lesson for you today, and then we'll go over some homework problems, and then we have a pretty good Treat Tuesday coming up. So involving ice cream sandwiches, mini cupcakes, and crappy Hawaiian punch.
Yeah.
That's the real deal, kids. The ice cream sandwiches are all melted though, but you can drink it, I guess. Okay, so we talked about finding the antiderivative, which gives you a family of possible answers. Okay, so you got that plus c stuck on the end. Let's suppose we, I'm just going to draw a picture here real quick. Let's suppose we do the antiderivative and we get a function that's x squared plus c. How does the plus c affect all the different graphs? Well, you'd have the basic, if c was 0, you'd have something like that. And then as I add numbers to that, or change the number, good, John just explained that, it slides up and down. So the only difference would be I'd have an x squared up here, x squared plus 1, for instance, x squared minus 2, x squared minus 50. It's all the same graph, it's just been slid up and down. And no matter how difficult or how complicated the graph gets, it's just going to slide that thing up and down. So what we want to talk about today is, let's not solve for the family of solutions, let's get a particular solution. Okay? Hence the reason it says particular solutions. Which is, that's a dot by the way, which is sometimes called a differential equation. We used that term yesterday. So we start with this. Find a general solution of that. So in other words, take the antiderivative and get us back to f. And I'm playing a little bit with the notation for you so you get used to all the different possibilities that can be thrown your way. So I could have very well called that just f of x and have you find capital F of x. Here I'm starting with f, capital F prime, and going to go back to capital F, correct.
And that's the original function.
And it's a general solution, so if you've done it correctly, you should have a plus c on the end of that. We'll see who makes the common mistake here. And surprisingly enough, I'll see if I can get somebody to catch themselves. The common mistake that happens in a calculus class is simple addition. Anybody make a mistake? What's negative 2 plus 1? Okay, good. You guys are a step above the average average individual there. So now I threw a special case in there. What is the general solution, by the way? What'd you get?
Negative x to the -1.
Negative x to the -1, also known as negative 1 over x. Good. We're all on the same page, yes?
Yeah.
Did anybody get it cubed? Negative third? Okay, good. Nobody made the mistake. Excellent. But now we've thrown in a particular situation here where instead of that family of solutions with the plus c, I want to look at one particular solution, and that particular solution passes through this point. What is that point?
1, 0.
Where is that point? Yes, Cam.
1, 0.
1, 0. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So we've got that. Take that. Get that. Now what do I do? Who's talking? Didi, do what?
Plug in 1 for x and plug in 0 for f of x.
Yeah, plug it in, plug it in.
Then you find c.
No, that's different. No, plug it in is it glad? Air freshener? Glade, right? Yeah, Glad is a garbage bag. Right? Glad garbage bags, Glade air freshener. Right? You don't normally lay out garbage bags in your house to make it smell nicer. And you don't want to put all your garbage in
They have a
there.
nice scent though. Yeah, they do. They have the
New
ones
ones.
for
And they have
Breeze.
some with
new ones.
Febreze.
Yeah, there's some lemon ones.
Maybe they have big glad bags.
No, they partner with Febreze.
Lemon garbage bag. You stop.
Take it with you.
I'm just gonna click. Plug it in, solve for C. Now you know C, and we can look at that particular solution. What it allows us to do is take that family of solutions, an infinite number of functions stacked up on top of each other, and look at one particular function and say, oh no, I want that one. And there should be only one that passes through the point. If you think about it, you can't get multiple functions in the same family passing through the same points. There can be only one. That's from the Highlander. Anybody? Seen a Highlander? No?
What's it about?
It's about a guy that lives forever.
That's
Yeah.
new.
But he carries a sword and he's gotta go around killing other guys.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that how he lives forever?
No.
Okay.
He's just.
What's his specialty called?
He works at Walmart as a cleaner. There's a giant sword on his back. Hi, welcome to Walmart. Don't mind that sword on my back. Yes, Dee Dee?
So when it's asking you for a particular solution, are you just gonna like find C and then just write like that equation for that particular solution?
Yeah, you just find the general solution and then you look at the stuff that makes it a particular solution, which will normally be in the form of a point. Plug it in, you get your particular solution. Okay, solve that one.
Kendra shredded.
How'd she do?
Kendra shredded.
She do good.
Did she do good?
Yeah.
Good.
Wait, so do you think the
That's my beat.
Any problems? Anything you want to nitpick on? Yeah, that would be my only minor qualm would be that should be a lowercase f. Because you're going from f prime, so the antiderivative of f prime would be lowercase f. But other than that, perfect work. Gets her family of solutions in the second line, plugs in her starting information with x being 1 and y being 5, solves for c. I assume her math is right. 3 plus minus move to 7 to, yeah. Alright, we're good, nice job. Anything difficult about this? Assuming you can take an antiderivative. That's a big assumption though. Oh, got the same thing, good job. Same. Alright. Time to run with the big dogs. So, before you dive into this, notice what I'm doing. I started with a second derivative. Got to do it twice. And, just to twist the knife a little bit, threw in some trig.
So you have to test the first one first, plug in the f primes first, and then
Okay, so that, before you dive into this, let me talk about the logistics. Hopefully you understand you're gonna get 2 C terms. Yeah? You'll get a C term on the first time you do it, you'll get a C term on the second term. You could change the letters, like do C and D. You could do C sub 1, C sub 2, or just do the first C term, find out what it is, get your new equation, do it again. So plenty of options there. This will be fun. It'll also be fun if you can remember your trig things. Whether or not you use the stupid golf thing.
That actually works.
That's the, I know.
if we remember the football thing is the golf day, then that should be easy to remember.
I'm sorry, what?
The football headshot is the same day as the golf day.
There you go.
That one video was more productive than anything we did in Spanish that day. We watched a silent orchestra. There was no
And they were
music.
claiming it was music
That
too.
is so
It's not music.
Was it John Cage?
Like orchestra for the deaf?
No, like they just stood there. Like
and then like the noises of the audience is supposed to be the music.
So they played John Cage
Yeah.
433.
That's called like. That's how you
Excellent,
scan.
man.
we saw a picture of a guy who nailed himself to a car. It's art.
Uh-huh. It was
Wait,
kind of art.
wait, back
It was
to
kind of
the
artistic when that
orchestra
dude got nailed in the face with a football too.
Yeah.
Spanish class is just humanities.
It's in Spanish though.
Spanish humanities
Humanities?
or Hanish? Or Hunish? Hunish.
I'm just a junior, so I don't know.
Well, I know, but that so you're not allowed to think about colleges because you're a junior? I understand, sorry. Sorry, I brought it up.
Illegal.
Civil War.
I did change my major last year
It was-
for a conference.
Did you? Congratulations, what'd you change it to?
From computer information technology, computer science.
For which
Why?
Because the other one was what I wrote my essays about.
Change the word in the essay.
The essay's already submitted.
It's just a mess.
I was a little mad.
Wait, was
but-
it for you or mine?
No, it was for Purdue.
She was going with computer science.
I guess some schools only have either computer science or computer information
Yeah.
technology.
I was mad.
Not all of them have both.
I cranked down a reason too, like in like 10 minutes why I need to change.
And then you
I wrote my essay.
Yeah, you like wrote addendum in.
I was a little like freaking out, but I was like, whatever.
Okay. Probably the rest of your life, don't worry.
Yeah.
For these, so then these.
I had a pretty good honors conference the rest of my life, but
Alright.
Just draw the
Exam my
equals,
essay was
and you know that you use CX.
I probably.
It was on like a paragraph.
So when CX value
I don't know.
Wait, hold on.
like a
Casey,
comma zero.
what do you have for your first antiderivative? In other words, what's f prime?
F prime of x equals negative 3 cosine x plus 5 sine x plus 5
Well, plus c. Yeah.
plus c.
And then you plugged in what?
And I plugged in 0
For,
for x
and set it equal to,
2
beautiful. And c turned out to be
5.
5, good. Let me see if I, oh wait, I just, hold on, sorry. Okay, good. Let me write that down. I thought I had it. F prime of x is, you said negative 3 cosine x plus 5 sine x plus c. Plugged in 0 for x, set it equal to 2. So 2 is equal to negative 3 cosine of 0 plus 5 times the sine of 0 plus c. What's cosine of 0? 1. What's the sine of 0? 0. This goes away. So 2 equals negative 3 plus c, c equals 5. I'm with you, Case. Then what?
And then you do f prime of 0 equals the same equation, but you substitute c for 5.
Oh, I got you. Okay, hold on. So f prime would then be negative 3 cosine x plus 5 sine x plus 5. Whoops, 5. Okay, I'm with you. Now what?
Then you take the antiderivative of that,
Okay. Which will give me f of x.
which equals negative 3 sine x minus 5 cosine x plus 5x plus c.
Beautiful. And remember, constants don't disappear now. This isn't derivatives, this is antiderivatives.
Why is it the sine x negative?
This sine x?
Yeah.
Because it was already negative.
But then why do you change when you go from sine to cosine, why does it change?
Because the golf thing tells us that when you take the antiderivative of sine, it becomes a negative cosine gesundheit. So if I cover this up, which I know I'm not really covering up, it's shining on the back of my hand, but the antiderivative of cosine is just sine of x. And I already had a negative 3 sitting there. Okay. If I take the antiderivative of sine of x, I get negative cosine x with a 5 sitting there. That's why that became negative. Okay. Now what, Case?
Then you plug in f of pi over 2, which equals negative pi. So you have negative pi equals negative 3 sine cosine pi over 2 plus 5 pi over 2 plus c.
Ooh, that's not so easy to solve. What's this?
That is
Sine of pi over 2?
-3.
Yeah, 1 times 3 is -3, so negative pi is equal to -3. This one?
0.
0 goes away, plus 5 pi over 2 plus c. 3 minus pi equals, nope, not equals, minus 5 pi over 2 equals c. Ooh. So you get that would be 2 pi over 2, so 3 minus 2 pi over 2 minus 5 pi over 2 over 2 would be 3 minus 7 pi over 2 for C. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
Hot diggity. That's an ugly C term,
So do
but it still works.
you want your
Back.
final answer in terms of f of pi over 2?
Yeah, so the final answer, I take that C and rewrite it just like we did at this last step here, which I think is what you'll see when I click when the answer pops up. Any problems here? Okay, it's still there if we need it, but, okay, there we go. That's about as bad as it'll get. Antiderivatives twice with some trig. Brennan?
So when you do the derivative twice, you'd have to stick the C term of the first derivative at the end to do the next derivative.
Correct. Because that's gonna give you another component when you take that second antiderivative. Okay. Question?
Will you end up adding c terms to like terms? Like if there was if this wasn't a trig problem, then there was just like a 10x in there, would you add 10x to 5x?
Yeah, you could simplify it.
Okay.
Okay, we good? Don't do this.